Hello. Pull up in yada feature stamp, yeah. Ajejeton, ire nílé mi ajejeton, ajejeton, ire lọ́dẹ mi ajejeton, ire mi ti dé o, Ifá múre wá o, Ifá kórè wá tì mí o, ayọ̀ mi ti dé o, ire gbogbo kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, ire ọmọ kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, ire àìkú kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, ire owó kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, kó máa bọ̀, ìmì àgẹ̀ṣin jáwé Ifá, òun gẹ̀ṣin jáwé Ifá, 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 yeah. Shut up, TikTok, man. Gifting suspended and live visibility restricted. The behavior is not in line with our policy. What's this dickhead talking about, man? Yeah, TikTok is sounding like a donut these days, bruv. I don't know what's going on. I feel like my page is being targeted, you know? Yeah. It's like they're targeting my page.
Already?
Exactly, already. I haven't even done anything yet. I haven't even done anything yet, man. Those donuts, bruv. I haven't done anything yet. What does that tell you? That tells you that it is basically, systemic targeting rather than anything I've done.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they're anticipating they'll go, like something would have happened that they would be able to cling on to. But I literally haven't even started talking yet. Anyway, Alkaline, how you doing, brother?
No, all good, my bro. How are you doing?
How you doing, brother? Yeah, I'm alright, yeah. Yeah, just surprised by the timing of that TikTok nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's to see that on your screen. Maybe it's scanned something on the screen. I know like these platforms, they don't like content like this, so I don't know, man. Maybe they've just seen certain words and it's like, let me flag this live or something. I don't know. So,
yeah, they're being silly right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I just know when you touch certain topics, talk about certain things, that these platforms, they don't like it. So
yeah, gets them a little bit riled up, innit?
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's no stopping this.
No stopping.
You know what I'm saying? There's no stopping this. You're gonna have to keep going. How's your week been, though? Everything blessed, yeah?
Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, man, just the usual. Like, we work, literally. And yeah, man, it's just winding down towards the end of the year, so not too busy, man. Not too busy.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, next week's the last week.
Last week.
I'll be in the office.
In the office.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've actually taken Wednesday and Thursday off, so literally I just got to Tuesday, and then
you just got to Tuesday. Then
yeah.
What about the Friday though? Are you working from home?
Oh yeah, work from home Friday. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, have you got anything planned? Are you planning to travel anywhere? What's the end of year plan?
No, just literally just gonna start focusing on planning to start my business. But
okay,
yeah, obviously I have more time to do that when I'm like at home. So
yeah. That's what's
start
up.
preparing for that, man. But yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that, seeing that flourish, man.
Yeah.
I
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing that flourish. Okay, so we are in week 7. Drum roll, please. So yeah, we are in week 7. And how did you find the last module though? Last week, we got into the numbers.
Yeah, last week's module was good. It was insightful. Like it was it's always good to learn something like obviously you're coming to learn like the language, but it's also good to learn something. You can take something else out of it. So like how we're learning the weekdays and how it's only 4 weekdays. It's also good to to learn something on top of that. So like, yeah, man, it was insightful.
Okay, that's good to hear. Because even that one talked about the cosmological aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, a lot of people still don't know that that we have a real Yoruba calendar. I'm talking about people like who lives in Nigeria. They've been in Nigeria their whole life. They don't know that we've got a Yoruba calendar or we ever had our own calendric system, and they definitely don't know that it's actually a 4-day week system. So a lot of people don't know that. The Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is what we've just adopted. Along with Westernization. So a lot of people don't know the historical aspect of that, but it's important to shed light on it. Obviously under the right context. But I think every Yoruba person, you have to know this. Let me give you a bit of an insight. Yeah. How can I? Okay. Did you know? And this is ridiculous, yeah. But a lot of Nigerians or even Yoruba people, they still think we originate from Adam and Eve.
That doesn't even make any sense. How do you even go from having names of Adam and Eve to names like Tunde or like
yeah, that's a good point. But also, you see, it's easy for people to not to have that misinformation, to be that misinformed if they have not been taught their history. If you've never ever looked back to understand your pre-colonial history, people don't understand that there is two completely different Africa. There is a pre-colonial Africa and there's a post-colonial Africa. People don't bother checking the pre-colonial Africa. They just take the narrative of the colonists and then they believe it. So if you haven't looked back to understand the pre-colonial Africa, it's easy to then be manipulated into thinking you came from Adam and Eve.
Yeah,
that's even at a surface level. We're not even talking about the genetics now. We're not even talking about genetics yet. We're not even talking about archaeological evidence yet. Archaeology. We're not even going into archaeology. We're not talking about genetics, and we're not even going into spirituality yet. Just understanding that understanding your pre-colonial history can already teach you a lot of things. Then when you start going into what does the genetic history say about our people, then you're going to see that the same people telling you came from Adam and Eve are the same people saying, Africans have existed for at least, based on what the current technology, the genetic technology can prove. They can guarantee that Africans have been around for at least 400,000 years. And the same people, if you're paying attention, they're telling you that Adam and Eve existed between 6,000 to 10,000 years ago.
So let's do the math. Way before.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're only reading the Bible and you haven't done your own logical analysis, your own investigation of actually looking at the real fact, like data, it's easy to be manipulated. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on with a lot of people. They just haven't really taken any time to think about it. They haven't really taken any time to actually examine the facts. So yeah. So, you know, without that, then it's easy to think you came from Adam and Eve. I was talking, I'm trying to remember who I was talking to recently. And then that person was trying to tell me that, oh, you know, the black people, like the African race, came last. And I'm like, what? I'm like,
what race was that? What race is the person that said that?
Come on, you should know. It's Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? A Yoruba person was trying to tell me that, and I'm like, no.
That's crazy.
I'm like, that's not supported by anything. That's not supported by by science or anything. But you can see how people never come out of the mental conditioning. If you're 100% convinced that black people were the last to come into this planet, and we came from Adam and Eve, which basically implies that, you know, the other races of people were already here and they established the world, and we are just their babies that they have to, you know, spoon feed information and everything, then it's easy to see why our people are where we are. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think, okay, let's imagine a family dynamics where the parent they were the baby, then you're going to be waiting for your own children for food and direction. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Imagine a parent one day, maybe they have, what's that mental condition? What's it called? Is it dyslexia that they call it?
What do you mean when you wait?
It's dyslexia, isn't it? You know,
describe it. Is it when they
have that memory loss that they,
it's dementia.
Dementia. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Dyslexia. Wow, madness. Yeah, dementia. So imagine a dynamic where there's a parent who's had children and grandchildren, and that parent goes to sleep one day and they wake up with dementia, and then that parent forget about their whole memory and start thinking they're the child. So if you go and examine people who have dementia and you study them, this is what you're going to find. That's the same pattern you're going to find. Maybe the part of their memory that they remember was when they attended primary school. So in their head, they go back to that, you know, to that primary school mentality.
Yeah.
Where they're looking for their parents for sustenance. This is what happens to people with dementia. So in our case, we have been subjected to induced dementia about ourselves and who we are. And that came through in the form of religion, was the mechanism that they utilize to put us in that state of mind. This is why Africans, if you look about, you know, in terms of the way we do our things, we are always looking to white people for solutions. We are always looking to them for ideas. We are always looking to, okay, what other new trend are they going to come up with that we're going to adopt and start following blindly like sheep? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how that mental conditioning came about. It is through that induced dementia, which is why a lot of us don't realize what we are and who we are, our history and where we come from. But the only solution, the only way to come out of that, it is through research. It is through doing the research and retracing your steps. Try to understand your people. Where did they come from? How long have they existed? What information is out there archaeologically? What information is out there historically? What information is out there scientifically? So looking into genetics and things of that nature. That's when you really understand who you are. You know what I'm saying? Then what the shift in thinking. I knew the truth before I could prove it with facts, if that makes sense. But when I did my own research and I finally discovered irrefutable fact that I can then use to validate what I always knew, it's like now I look at Adam as it's like compared to my ancestor, it's like a great like 400 grandchild. Not my ancestor, not the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not go too deep in that. But it's important for Africans to understand this because it changes your understanding of the world and your role in it, your position in it. You know what I'm saying? Because without that understanding, it confuses a lot of people. It creates so much. Like I said, it's mental. It puts people in a state of dementia. 100%. So yeah. But that's not why we're here today. So, Ilé Ẹ̀kọ́ Yorùbá Foundation course. We are in week 7, module 7. And what are we talking about? We are talking about ìtàn, which means history, àti ìṣẹ̀ṣe, ìtàn, and cosmology is what we are talking about today. And it's going to be an interesting one. Okay? So buckle up your seatbelt and yeah, let's go on the historical safari. Okay, that's what this is. Oh, okay. I remember the the warning from previous weeks. Let's get the screen right. You know what? Every time during every live, I tell myself, you know what? I need to rediscover how to move those boxes, how to move them around. I tell myself that during the live, but as soon as the live finishes and I go about my business, I don't remember it until the next time we come in. So yeah, we'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. So yeah, I just need to find the right angle for this, which doesn't impede the information on the screen. Okay. How's this looking now?
If you zoom out a bit, just
zoom in a bit.
No, zoom out.
Zoom out a bit. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's good now, yeah?
Yeah.
It looks a little bit slanted though.
Yeah, but it's got. Oh yeah, that's it. Ooh. The boxes are still. See the headings. It's still.
Yeah, I need to zoom out a little bit more. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Moji Morire. Okay, getting there. Sorry about this. You know, technical difficulties. It gets a little bit techie. Okay, how about now?
That should be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the most. I don't like it, to be honest with you. So we'll have to find another way to make this happen. And a little bit of zoom out should do it. How about that now?
It's if you zoom out just a touch. Just a touch. Oh yeah, raise it. Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. Okay, I think we hit the right spot. Okay, let's go. So yeah, lesson 1, ìtàn ìbílẹ̀ Yoruba, origins of Yoruba civilization. Who are the Yoruba people? You know, the Yoruba people are a people who originate from West Africa, a place called Ile-Ife. And according to Yoruba cosmology, this is actually the place where the world actually started from. This is the place where the Irumole, who are the primordial energy, the primordial ancestors, this is where they landed when they first came into the universe, when they first came into the world. And the history, I told the history a little bit in this book here. It's for children, but basically I told the history a little bit about our origin story, okay? So let me just read from here shortly, really quick, because he explains a lot in terms of our background and our foundation. So this is the information we've got. This is what's been handed down about our ancestors, handed down by our ancestors about our origin. So when you hear about the Yoruba people, where did they come from? How did they come into being? Where did they come into the world? This is the information that our ancestors passed down, okay? So long ago, before there were cities and towns, trees and rivers, mountains and people, there was only the sky above and the great waters below. In the sky lived powerful beings called the Irumole, children of Olodumare, the supreme being. Okay, the creator is Olodumare. Okay, they were wise, brave, and full of wonder. Each had a special gift to bring to the world below. One day, Olodumare, the creator of all things, called them together. The earth below needs life and love, Olodumare said. Who among you will go and make it blossom with life and joy? Okay? And so the story begins of how Irumole came down from the sky and brought life and joy into the world. Okay? Let's continue. Okay, so the next chapter then goes into the descent. Okay, the landing. Okay? So here, the Irumole were excited. They packed their magical tools, bags of sand, calabashes of water, sacred charms, and began their journey. They floated down from the sky like shining stars and stepped onto the soft, wet earth. But something felt wrong. The trees would not grow, the water would not flow, no signs of life appeared. The Irumole tried everything they could, but nothing worked. They looked at each other and asked, why isn't anything working? And then they realized they had forgotten someone very important. Okay? This part, the women should listen closely. Okay? Okay, this chapter goes into nothing worked. The Irumole returned to Olodumare with their heads bowed. We did everything we could, they said, but nothing worked. The earth is still empty. Olodumare looked at them kindly. You forgot Oshun Asheba Yeye Oshun Yeye Oshun Shengeshe. Awedekoto Wemo Ashebanyo. She is the spirit of love, beauty, and balance. The Irumole felt ashamed. Because she was soft, gentle, and kind, they didn't think that they needed her power to create the world. So they invited Oshun to join them the second time around. And this time, when they returned to Earth, something wonderful happened. The Earth began to sparkle and grow. Okay? Then the book goes into meet the Irumole, okay, and it talks about the different Irumole from Eshu to Orunmila to Ogun to Oshun. Look at the beauty, yeah, Oshun Shangeshe to Oshosi to Oshumare to Osonyi. And it talks about Yemoja Ejigbo. Oh. Shout out to 100. So meet Oya. It talks about Oya. Okay, when you hear about Zina, the warrior princess, that was plagiarized from Oya. I believe that strongly. Meet Shango. When you hear about Shango, can you see the weapon he's holding? What does that look like?
It looks like Thor.
It looks like Thor's hammer, right? So when you hear about Thor, trust me, they plagiarized that from Shango. It talks about Olokun. When you hear about Olokun, trust me, what's that? Aquaman. That they plagiarized Olokun for Aquaman. Then it talks about Oduduwa and Obatala, Oshala. Okay, I am going to explain the significance very shortly. So, when we talk about Irumole, what are they really? If you think about the earth, the way the earth is actually functioning, if you think about all the earth, it's like a fusion of forces and energy. Okay, that makes the earth work. So, for instance, one of the most fundamental aspects of Earth and why human beings are able to function on it, why everything gravitates on the ground, why the reason we can walk on the ground with our feet and not tumble all over the place is because of the force of what? Gravity. Right? The force of gravity. That's without gravity. If you look at other planets that are not habitable, it's because the balance of gravity is not conducive to a human function. Okay, it's not conducive to humans to function under those circumstances because the gravity is not there. And then we're talking about things like electromagnetic wave. We need electromagnetic wave. Actually, before we come to that, then we've got the wind, right? Okay, we've got the wind, which is what Oya. Okay, because without the wind, without the breeze, we cannot breathe, right? The earth would be too humid, it would be too static for humans to be able to function in it. So we've got Oya, which represents the wind and the obviously you're basically the wind, okay? Then we've got things like so we need Oya. Oya is another Irumale. We've talked about gravity. Then we've talked about even the earth itself, the ground. In Yoruba culture, in Yoruba cosmology and spirituality, the ground is a living organism. It's not just an object that we can place our feet on or place our houses and place things on. Even the ground is a living organism. Adeshebaile, Ashebaile, Abeni Abe, Iya Abeni Abe, Afokoyeri, Alakpo Ire, Ashebare ni ọjọ́ òní o. So even the ground, the earth that we step on, is a living organism. It's an irumole because it's a primordial. There's a spirit associated with it. Okay, and then we go into what are the things that we actually need to in order to produce, to create, to build. Then we've got iron, right? Okay, iron ore, that's Ogun. Ogun is then, a primordial Irumale. So if we're talking about the Irumale, we are really talking about the primordial forces of nature. But in the Yoruba cosmology and Yoruba history, we originate from those forces. We are not just separated from them. Do you understand? So we actually originate from them because we are their children, so to speak. So which means that we have, as Yoruba people, really intimate relationship with those forces. Although those forces are in today's world, they are not visible to the naked eye. Right? They are not visible to the naked eye. It's like, for instance, if somebody told you that, did you know that you could talk to the ground? People are gonna think you're a madman, that you've lost your mind, right?
Yeah.
But Yoruba people can talk to the ground and make it do things and make it respond. It's because we Yoruba people, we are nature, and a lot of African people are like that. The real original Africans, they are like that. We are not just experiencing nature; we are part of it. Do you understand? So and therefore we know how to talk to it. We know how to interact with it. We know how to venerate it. So it's like the same way you cannot separate a child from the mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same way you cannot separate Yoruba people from nature. Yoruba people, they've developed, they know how to communicate with nature. They don't only see nature as things. For instance, when it comes to electromagnetic waves, yes, we see the presence of it in telecommunication systems, right? If somebody's holding a walkie-talkie down the road and I'm holding one here, we can communicate with each other. If somebody's holding a phone in Timbuktu and I'm over here, I can dial their number and communicate with them. Why is that so? That's electromagnetic waves that we are using, which permeates the universe. It's everywhere. Right? That's the same reason I can talk. If I put my radio tuner on the table right now and I want to listen to a radio station in Russia, as long as I know the frequency, I can dial my radio tuner into a channel in Russia, and then I'll be able to hear what they're saying on that channel in Russia. Why is that so? That's issue. So But if you spoke with Russians, they'll tell you, oh yeah, we know that we've got the electromagnetic waves which powers radio system. Yeah, we know it works because we can see it's working on radio and television. But they see it as, oh, it's just there, we just use it. But Yoruba people have an intimate relationship with those things because we are not just other races, they are experiencing nature. We are not just experiencing nature, we are nature. You understand? We originate from it. And today, Yoruba people know how to, the same way you know how to pick up your phone and dial a number that you're familiar with and talk to somebody, Yoruba people know how to then use their own spiritual systems, metaphysical systems to dial into Eshu, and they can talk to Eshu and communicate with him and get a response. They can talk to like Oya to stop the rain. Like, for instance, let's imagine I've got a party over here and I'm looking to do something today and it's forecasted to rain, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've got this thing I'm doing, that rain is going to impede me right now. Yoruba people and other African cultures, they can talk to rain and say, oh, keep doing your thing all the way over there, but you see here right now that I'm doing something, please don't rain down here. Do you know Yoruba people can do that? And this is fact. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. They're called rain catchers. Then they do this 100%. It's not subjective. It's not mythical. Okay? So, and I've always said, and I've said before to somebody, like, you see all those things that they call mythical, oh yeah, it's just myths, old school. No. You haven't met a Nigerian, you haven't met a Yoruba person who understands this thing. They can show you that a lot of the things that they call myths, they're not myths. They're still happening today, and they can still make it happen right now. Right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not myths. Yoruba that's where, and things that they call mythical, that's where it stops. That's where it gets real. Okay? So basically, and I'm saying that to say that in order to understand Yoruba people, you have to understand that Yoruba people are the descendants of those primordial forces of nature that permeates the universe, that basically make the universe work the way that it works today. The things that are functional about nature, you know what I'm saying? Yoruba people are familiar with them. Okay, like when it even comes to the daylight and the darkness, or even things like sleep. Sleep is a function of is a force of nature that Yoruba people actually recognize as an entity in itself, and they can communicate with it. It's the same thing with death. You know what I'm saying? So Yoruba people are not separated from the nature the same way, the way other people just experience nature. No, Yoruba people are the physical representation of it in today's reality. You understand? So in order to understand Yoruba people, Yoruba language, and everything else, people need to understand that. Once you understand that, the rest, everything else is gonna make sense. Okay? And a lot of Yoruba people, they've forgotten about their history because, again, like I said, you have to understand the pre-colonial existence of our people, the pre-colonial technology that our ancestors created, the pre-colonial systems, in order for you to be able to understand this. If you're only looking at our post-colonial history, then that's the part that they try to make us like blend in with everyone else, but we're not everyone else. Okay? Anyway, so I hope that background, I hope it makes sense, but let's step forward, yeah? So who are the Yoruba people? I believe I've just explained that. Yoruba people are Omo Irumole. We are the descendants of the primordial forces of nature that Olodumare sent into the universe to come and create the world. Those are our ancestors. Those are that's where we come from, and we've got their blood, in us to this day. Okay, Ile-Ife is where they landed, the place that they landed in when they first came and make their first landing. They landed in Ile-Ife. It's our spiritual and historical home. Oduduwa and the sacred descendants of the Yoruba are the first king, the first ruler, the first leader in that kind of chieftaincy, that that kind of Oba, role, that supreme leader of the Yoruba people, the spiritual guide, that pulled us all together as a union, as a people, is Oduduwa. Then later on, through time and migration and everything else that's happened, the Yoruba people from Ile-Ife, they start to disperse, they start to spread out into other parts of what they call the Yoruba land, the Yoruba Empire. Places such as Oyo, Ijesha, Egba, okay, which is where our people from, Ijebu, Ibadan, Oshogbo. Obviously, some people still remain in Ife to today as we speak, okay? There's an activity here. Draw or describe your idea of Ile-Ife. Well, what's your imagination of it? How based on what I've said, based on what I've described, the way I've described it as the place where humanity started, according to Yoruba cosmology, and this is probable in a lot of ways, even if I goes into more intimate detail about the creation of the world, how they brought things like trees and sand and rooster from Orin, which is the ancestral realm, into here to come and transplant it over here. So the oldest trees, the oldest organic trees that we see in the world today were transplanted here. They were not here when the earth was initially created. There were no trees. They were transplanted. They were brought here. And Ifa goes into very intimate detail when he talks about basically with the intimate detail about what he talks about it. I'm trying to remember the Odu Ifa that actually goes into a lot of detail. I've got it will come back. It may come to me before we end the live. But yeah, there's an Odu Ifa which talks about that in a lot of detail, in really, really intimate detail. Okay, so one day we I don't know, maybe one day we'll get there. Actually, there's one of my elders who know this really intimately. Baba, Kiloruka Baba, Baba Ade Tumobi, I think, yeah. Babalawo Obakola, yeah, he knows this in intimate detail, and you only need to witness and talk about it in Yoruba. It's such a beautiful way, the way he describes it. Oh my goodness. He talks about it in real intimate detail in Yoruba. When I sat there, when I first heard him say it, I was in awe. But the detail is so intimate, it's so real that you probably you're not even going to. It talks about the whirlpool. Do you know what the whirlpool is?
No, what's that?
You might have to slap that in Google quickly. Basically, the whirlpool is basically like a storm. You see the way hurricane, like a spinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the way hurricane spins, and basically that's what that Odu Ifa talks about. That's what they use to transport all these materials like trees. That's what our ancestors used to transport everything that they brought, including iron, including trees, including some the things that they brought from the Orun to come and transplant into Aye. How they brought it. Ifa, there's an Ifa verse or verses which talks about that in intimate detail. They use a whirlpool to bring this thing over here. So this thing is deep. So when we talk about Yoruba people, who are these people? You have to understand that history in order to really, really get it. But ultimately, Yoruba people are what they call Omo Irumole. Okay? So if people wonder, oh, how come these Yoruba people and their spirituality, why are they always doing this? Why are they always doing that? How come they can put, they've got some special herbs, special plants over there that can make people bulletproof? How are they finding these things? People have to understand Yoruba people are basically Omo Erumole. We are the children of nature in itself. And there are other people in the universe as well who have maintained that ancestral wisdom, that spiritual understanding, and they still have power, access to it. But you have to understand that there are some people who actively came to destroy all this history about us. They came to wipe us out. The Yoruba, the people that we see today, and Africans that we see today, they're not here by luck. We are the last ones left. This wasn't intended for us. They didn't come to Africa with a view of, let's unalive most of them and just leave a little bit, not a little bit behind. No, they didn't come with that intention. They came to wipe us out. We just happened to survive. You know what I'm saying? So people need to understand that. So a lot of our history, a lot of our spiritual systems, a lot of the things that our ancestors actually created that they used during their own time, a lot of those got buried, under the colonial attack. A lot of that information got buried up. A lot of it got buried up, and then at the same time it got demonized. So a lot of people don't even want to look to it, because it's been portrayed as something evil, something wicked, and something bad. So most people don't even want to go anywhere near it. You know what I'm saying? But if you are able to remove the emotion from it and just study it from a scientific perspective, I know not everybody is into science, and all that palaver. But for people who are able to look at it from a scientific perspective without any emotions, without any any concept of what's it called? That mysticism. If you what's that thing called? without looking at it from a Scooby-Doo perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? If you don't look at it from that childish perspective and you're just able to understand from a science perspective, okay? When you mix compound, how do they react? When you mix this compound with that chemical compound, what kind of reaction does it get? If you're more outcome based and you just look at outcome based, you're gonna love our history. You're gonna love our what we've got. But if you're one of those people that you've been spooked by religion, you're not gonna understand it. You're just gonna run from it. Anyway, so let's step forward. It's getting too deep. I get passionate when I talk about this because, the information and the enlightenment that's basically hidden away is too profound. It's too much for people to be missing out on. Sometimes I just think this is crazy. Like that we can come into a life, we can have an experience of life and get old and then go and then transition, but you've missed a whole. It's like you haven't lived.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've missed a whole. It's like you missed a whole lot. There's a lot that you've missed. So it's just a shame that it's like that. But anyway, let's continue. So lesson 2, Orisha Ati Ashe. We're now talking about the divine forces and power of speech. Okay, I have already talked about the divine energy and how the primordial energy. They are called the Irumole. Again, in the Yoruba cosmology, it also teaches us that the Irumole first came into the world as pure forces of energy, forces of nature. Okay. Because they had to make the world habitable first. After establishing that, then they came back in human form. And that's what we call Orisha today. Okay? So the Orishas are the reincarnations of the Irumole. Okay? So they designed the world to make it habitable for the human flesh. And then they came back as human to come and establish the society. Okay, so Orisha equals manifestations of divine energy, the human manifestations, the return, the reincarnation of the divine energy in human form. Okay, Ori, the inner divinity guiding one's destiny. Ori is your head, but like I've explained in this book, when we talk about Ori, we're not talking about the physical head alone. Because in the Yoruba cosmology, again, it teaches us that your Ori is multi-dimensional. It's a triadic system of the Ori Ode, which is the physical head that we see, okay? The Ori Ode is the physical head that's resting on your neck. And then there's the Ori Inu, okay, which is secreted in your part of the brain that's called the limbic system. You've got your Ori Inu in there, which is basically your divinity, your divine guidance in this world. And then you've got your Ikmori, which is your mirror image, which sits in Orun, the ancestral realm. Because this earth, even scientists have already proven that this earth is basically a hologram of the of Orun, what they call heaven, but we call it Orun. Okay, so this earth is a holographic experience. Okay, so your Ori, when we talk about your Ori, it's in three parts, and this book here explains it in great detail. I just wanted to highlight that. I don't want people to be thinking your Ori is just this head that you've got on your head. It's part of it, but it's not all of it. It's a triadic system. There's three parts to it, and which are supposed to be working in tandem. So the perfect human being, based on the Olodumare's blueprint, is a human being that's functioning not based on your external head, which is your conscious mind, but also your subconscious mind and your superconscious mind. So this is your conscious mind that you see on your head, your physical brain. Okay, your subconscious mind, which governs your impulses, which governs your hunches, which is basically your divine navigator. So when Olodumare sent us into this world, it didn't just put us down here and say good luck. No, it paired us up with a spiritual guide, with basically a guide, a navigator, to help us in this journey. Okay, to guide us, to give us direction, okay, and protect us, your Orinu. But then you've got your super consciousness, which is your Ikmori. Your Ikmori is not here with us, it is in Ornu. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead. And then you've got the Ashe, the spiritual force that makes words real. Okay, because the Yoruba people, we believe we create our world, our universe. We create our world with our words. Okay, and when we talk about Ashe, the spiritual force that makes words real, that solidifies word from abstract, from just, like if you think about the way the universe works, everything is like made of what? Atoms, right? Okay, everything is made of atom, right? So everything that we see, all the solid particles that we see, are like basically a solidified group of atoms. Okay, so Ashe is the power in our words which solidifies our thoughts. Anything that's perceivable is what is. It can be created. If it can be perceived, it can be created. You see, so we got perception now. If you can have a vision about something, if you can have a thought process about something, then we've got the solidification of the thoughts to the realization of it. The gap in between, which we call manifestation, is Ashe. So Ashe is the spiritual, divine energy, divine power, okay, which solidifies which take our thoughts, okay, from just a visual form into solid state. Okay, into making it, solidifying it. Okay, if you look at this screen, this computer screen right now, once upon a time somebody imagined this. It was a thought, right? We are now looking at it and using it and experiencing this in a solid form because that thought has been solidified. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But once upon a time, somebody had to think about it, because without the imagination, you cannot have the realization, because the imagination is what sets that's the map, right? And then the action that happens in between, which brings the imagination into realization, okay, that's the part that you then have to work on. But the imagination, it all starts from the imagination. Without the imagination, there's no inspiration, right? Because it's like a sheep. If you put a sheep in the water right now, if you don't set an address on the navigation system, or on the compass, if you're not picking out a destination, you will never get to where you're going because you have not set a target, right?
Yeah.
You just be wandering in the seas, and until you run out of fuel and resources, and what happens then? You know what I'm saying? So basically, the imagination is basically you create a mind map with your imagination. Then Ashe is the divine energy that we've got within us to actualize our imagination with our words. Okay? And it's very important for anyone trying to understand the Yoruba people, the Yoruba cosmology, the Yoruba spirituality. It's very important that you understand this, okay? Especially if you are a Yoruba person, if you are of a Yoruba origin. Your words are not empty if you're a Yoruba person, because you are what? You are Omo Irumole. You've got Ashe in your words, which is why Yoruba people, they are always taught to be careful about what you speak. Be careful about what you say, because you have Ashe in your words. Your words mean more than people that probably are not of that same origin. Our words mean more. Our words can solidify. Our words can change things. Okay? Which is why they say, Yoruba parents know that you have to be careful about the words that you speak to your children, especially when you're riled up, when you're in a state of emotional state or state of anger. Because your words as Yomo Yoruba, it is not just sentences and verbs. Your words is, it's got a spiritual force behind it, and it's used for creation or perhaps destruction if care is not taken. Okay? So there's a proverb here that I've inserted which says, Àṣẹ ni agbára ọ̀run tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ di gidi. Àṣẹ ni agbára ọ̀run tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ digidi. They says Àṣẹ is the power of the heavens which turns your words into solid state. That's what that translates as. That explains it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It turns your words into a solid state. So, reflection. Why do we say Ashe after a blessing, after an affirmation, after an invocation? Ashe is a command. You're commanding it. Okay? You can write a bunch of code and, in computing, but then again, you want to put what there? What do you want to put there? You want to put a command that when a person then press this button or do this, it triggers this command which carries out this function, right? That's just basic computer science, isn't it? So your Ashe is your command behind your words, which brings what you're saying into being. Okay? And I have already done a lecture about how one could basically amplify your Ashe, how you can awaken your Ashe, and also I put in that lecture I also explained how you can actually lose power in your Ashe as well. Okay, because Ashe is something that has to be cultivated. If you call yourself Omo Yoruba, you have to cultivate your Ashe. You have to be careful about the way you use it, where you use it, and how you use it. Okay? So hopefully you use them up for good rather than bad. But it's there. Lesson 3, Ìwà Pẹ. So good character. Ìwà is character, the true wealth of a person. According to Yoruba people, we believe Ìwà is actually the true wealth and the true beauty of a person. So Ìwà Pẹ, in Yoruba, you may hear proverbs such as Ìwà Lẹ́wà, which means character is beauty, or Ìwà Rere lọ́jọ́ orí, good character extends destiny. Okay, write 3 Yoruba words for good traits here. Let me rephrase this a little bit. Where is it? Yeah. Ìwà rere lè fi kún ọjọ́ orí. Yeah. Okay. I just rephrased it a little bit into a more simplistic Yoruba. So lesson 4. Okay, what was that? Write 3 Yoruba words for good traits. Okay, so you can definitely practice that as an activity. So lesson 4, Ori àti àyànmọ́. Yes, the destiny and inner head. Remember what I explained earlier? The Ori cosmology is got 3 elements inside it. We've got the what? The Ori Ode, which is your conscious mind. We've got the Ori Inu, which is your subconscious mind. And we've got the Ekmori, which is your superconscious mind. Okay? Ori Inu equals inner spiritual essence. Okay? This is your divine guide, your divine guidance. Your Àyànmọ́ is your destiny. Remember when I explained destiny in previous lectures, when I said in the Yoruba paradigm, your destiny is in 2 folds. We've got the what? The Àyànmọ́ and the Ìpín. Okay? Versus your Ìwà, which is your character. Okay, so basically your destiny is aligned with your character. Okay, torí TBC rela dálé ayé, every single one of us, we've got an assignment, we've got our destiny, but your character can then determine what path you take. Are you going to be on the path of goodness and fortune, or are you going to be on a path of misfortune? Okay, are you going to be on a path of ruin and misfortune? Your what? Your character, your Ìwà, can determine which path you venture in. Okay, and every single day, with every thought, with every action, we are making those choices every day. We are either gravitating more towards goodness and fortune, or we are what? Gravitating towards damnation and destruction. Okay, so that's something that every person should know, not only Yoruba people. Every person should know this. So your action is every single time determine what direction you're aligning to. But the realization we must have is your thoughts and your actions have consequences. It means, are you amplifying goodness to yourself, or are you repelling goodness? Are you amplifying misfortune? Are you amplifying fortune, good fortune, or you know what I'm saying? Or are you repelling good fortune? Are you amplifying misfortune or attracting misfortune? Every thought and action basically is doing either for us. You know what I'm saying? I explain it in greater detail another time, because I have seen it in practice myself. You know what I'm saying? At a more intimate level, but let me just leave it aside for now. But on this thing, it is so real and it is so fragile. It is so real and it is so fragile. At a surface level, okay, let me just give you a bit of a surface level information on this. Okay, let's imagine now, like, remember I've already explained how in previous lectures how human beings we've got a destiny, and destiny determines the path that we take, right? And when Olodumare gave us our Ìpín and Àyànmọ́, it also puts our provision along those paths. Okay? Meaning the world was created with both the positive and the negative forces. It's like when you look at any battery, there's a red and a black part, right? The positive charge and the negative charge. That's basically mimicking the human nature, mimicking nature the way it actually exists, mimicking the divine blueprint. Okay, so when they created those Duracell batteries, those car batteries, that's a mimic, that's a leverage of the divine blueprint, which is based on positive charges, positive forces, as well as the negative forces. Okay, so in your destiny, all the things that you're supposed to have, which falls under the umbrella of fortune, are along your positive path. All your misfortunes are along your negative path. Okay? So let's imagine that at different points, there are fortunes that you're supposed to pick up. Okay, let's look at the game, computer game, like let's say Super Mario or even Sonic Hedgehog for 1 second. You see, when you're in that Sonic or Mario world, you go through stages, right? You follow different paths, right? Some paths are basically going to enrich you. Maybe you pick up a flower, or in Mario, maybe you pick up a coin, right? But certain obstacles or certain things can then create a misfortune for you, whereby you lose your coins, all the coins that you've already accumulated. You can lose it, and worst case scenario, you can also lose your life. You know what I'm saying? It is exactly like that in life. So what I want us to explain about the fragility of nature, of our human experience in this world is, let's imagine now you are only, let's say, 10 steps away from picking up a big fortune that's already been assigned and appointed to you, you know, right before you even came into this world. Your path has already been set. Okay? And you're supposed to pick it up. Did you know things like just or negative thought? Let's imagine you're supposed to get, you know, a lot, like get of fortune is supposed to be bestowed on you tomorrow, for instance. Yeah? And all you had to do was just continue everything that you've been doing so far. Naturally, you're on that path. You're supposed to receive it. That you can't miss it. But you need to stay in that positive mind state in order for you to receive that fortune. Because if any act of negativity can derail you, can block that blessing, this is real. Sometimes just one argument with the wrong person can chase your blessing away, because it now destabilizes the path of fortune with which you've been venturing. So that negativity can set you back, or it can change your course, and you can miss a lot of blessings that way. But the blessing has already been attempted, assigned to you and appointed to you, because your blessing, before we came into this world, we chose what we wanted in this world. So our destiny in Yoruba paradigm is a combination of your ikme and your ayomo. It is already preset. It is predetermined. Your actions and your thoughts just decide which path are you in. And whatever path you're in, at any point, you will have to experience what's already been predetermined along those paths. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So, and it's very fragile because I've experienced it. And I'll explain how the other day. I've experienced it, and I've studied it, and I paid attention to it. That I've now got data which enables me to understand how fragile it is. But I'll explain it in another day, another time. But just know that this thing is very, very fragile when it comes to our experience in this world. Just one raw act of negativity, as simple as arguing with somebody, can definitely create a negative reaction, can set up a reaction of negativity for you. And also when it comes to path as well. No, let me not go into that. If I go into that, we're gonna get too deep. Anyway, so basically, your Mo and your Ìwà goes hand in hand, which means your destiny and what you experience along your path of your destination is heavily dependent on your Ìwà, which is your behavior. Okay, your character. So, and there's a proverbs: Ori buruku. That means Ori Buruku, the literal translation of it means a bad head. But what it's actually talking about is not that the head is bad. It just means the bad character, your character. Okay? Does not take one into does not carry one into good fortune. Okay? That's what he's saying here. That Ori Buruku ki igbeni debi rere. That means your bad head, the bad character cannot carry you, cannot take you into a path of good fortune. Okay? So reflection here. What does Ori mean to you personally? You can answer that now, or you can take that away as something you need to reflect on. Okay? You don't necessarily have to answer the question right here, right now. Okay? We've got a few people here. Next door neighbor, Hadi, Olakule Ajayi. Ẹ káàbọ̀ lórí ètò ẹ ṣeun tẹ́ wà pẹ̀lú wa lẹ́nu o. People can send a request and come up if you want to. Okay? The more the merrier. The more the merrier. A máa pọ̀ sí ni a máa rẹ̀ sí à ní dínkù lágbára Èdùmàrè. Okay? So lesson 5 now goes into Ìṣẹ̀ṣe àti Ìbà. Okay, respect and reverence. We've talked about Ìbà in previous lectures. Okay, so Ìbà is basically reverence or spiritual salutation. You always hear me every time. Every time I start a program, I always say Mo ṣèbà fún Olódùmarè ọba atẹ́rẹrẹ kárí ayé, ọba àjíkí, ọba àjípè. If you see maybe one people join, one person join, or some of our elders, I always say Mo ṣèbà àgbàlagbà, Mo ṣèbà aṣíwájú o, Mo ṣèbà ajúnilọ. That's me paying homage. That's me giving reverence. Remember what I said? The Yoruba language is a language of what? Language of reverence. Okay? And that's what Ìbà means. So examples. Ìbà orí mi. Some of the affirmation that we do when we wake up as Omo Yoruba, as a Yoruba person, when you wake up in the morning, you're supposed to grab your head with both hands and what? And ṣe ìbà orí, mo ṣèbà orí mi àpérè, àtètè níran, àtèlénímáyà, orí mi o, orí mi olùgbèjà mi, ìṣẹ̀dá mi mo yìn ọ́, mo gbé ọ ga, orí mi o ṣeun, mo dúpẹ́ fún ọjọ́ tòní, mo dúpẹ́ fún orí tí mo yàn wá sórí ilẹ̀ ayé yìí, orí mi àpérè, gbé rere wá fún mi, orí mi gbè mí, orí mi gbà mí, gbé mi débi rere. Like this. Can you see this gentleman? Okay, no. In this image, you see the way that person is holding almost like the back of their head? Like this? Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. As Omo Alade, as Omo Yoruba, in the morning, you are supposed to pay reverence, pay homage to your Ori. Okay? Ori mi o ṣeun, mo dúpẹ́ pé mo jí lónìí. Orí mi, olùgbèjà mi, gbà mí, gbè mí, gbé mi débi re, jẹ́ n ṣẹ́gun ọ̀tá, ọfà ọ̀tá ò ní bà mí, apá ọ̀tá ò ní ká mi o. Orí mi àpérèrè wá fún mi, jẹ́ máa rí mu pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn. So basically, you're just saying some affirming words to your Ori, giving appreciation for your Ori for waking you up today. Giving appreciation to your Ori that I am happy that this is the Ori that Olódùmarè, assigned to me to basically accompany me in this journey, in this earthly experience. You then say some affirming words. You can even give you some instructions to your Ori. When I want to lay down to sleep, I give some instruction to my Ori. Mo máa ń sọ pé orí mi o ṣeun, mo dúpẹ́ fún ọjọ́ tòní àti oore tòní. Orí mi bí mo ṣe fẹ́ sùn lálẹ́ yìí, wá ṣe àkóso. That means be on guard. Tí ọ̀tá mi bá pè ẹ́ níbi má jẹ́ o orí mi, if somebody is calling you like trying to jinx you in your sleep, trying to jinx me in my sleep, you know, people can attack you in your sleep. Yoruba people know that very well. Má jẹ́ o, tí ọmọ ráyé bá pè orí mi níbi má jẹ́ o. That means if somebody tries to call my head in vain, don't answer. Because when I'm sleeping, I am vulnerable. So you can give that instruction to your Ori. And mo tún máa ń sọ fún orí mi pé orí mi ṣàkóso. Orí mi jẹ́ mọ̀ tí nǹkan bá wà tó bá fẹ́ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀. Ṣe pè mí sí àkíyèsí lójú oorun. Ṣe mí ní ìrètí lóru. Jẹ́ rántí ní òwúrọ̀. So you see, you can give instruction to your Ori as well, because when you're sleeping, when your conscious mind is asleep, your subconscious mind goes to work. It is still on guard. You can give it some instructions, okay, that you want it to do. That, you know, what information do you want? Ori mi jọ tó bá já wọn táwọn tá mi bá ń ṣe nǹkan níkọ̀rọ̀ gbé wọn sí gbangba tún àṣírí wọn. You can give your Ori the instruction that if somebody is doing something snaky, something booky behind your back, you can tell your Ori to reveal it to you in your sleep. And your Ori can do that. If you have that alignment, if you have that connection, you build the connection. But ultimately, you can tell your Ori something. Ori mi, ìdààmú yìí wá pọ̀ o. Jọ̀ọ́ jẹ́ máa rí jẹ́ máa rí mu pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn. Gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ tí mò ń wá orí mi, èyí tó máa ṣe àǹfààní, tó máa ṣe ìwúlò fún mi ni kò pè wá fún mi. Now you're giving your Ori some instructions that, you're going through hardship at the moment. Okay, you're going through hardship at the moment. I've been applying for jobs. I'm looking for a way out, but nothing is coming. My Ori, you are my pointing you. I'm telling you, you go and bring the one that's gonna be beneficial towards me. The one that's going to nourish me. The one, you know, my way of, you know, earning my way of, you know, how I'm going to sustain myself. Make it easy for me. No sound, K. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
Bàbá mi engineer Josh ẹlẹ́gbọ́n mi bóyá TikTok yìí nìyẹn o, bóyá kẹ lọ sí WhatsApp kẹ padà wá. Mo ṣe bá dín ní lọ ṣé dáadáa ní bá mi. Mo ṣe bàbá mi your next door neighbor ṣé dáadáa ní sà. Ẹ ṣeun tẹwà pẹ̀lú wa lónìí o.
Adúpẹ́ ẹkú iṣẹ́ ẹrúmọlẹ̀ dáadáa ni o.
Ẹ ṣeun bá mi o, mo ṣe bá dín ní lọ kábíyèsí bàbá. Ẹ ṣeun tẹwà pẹ̀lú wa o. Tẹ̀sán iná fẹ́ dá sétò ni àbẹ́ ṣe wà pẹ̀lú wa náà.
Wọ́n ṣe wà pẹ̀lú iná mò ń lísìn ẹ ṣe gan.
Ẹ ṣeun bá mi, Èdùmàrè á wà pẹ̀lẹ́yìn náà, ẹ ṣeun. Okay, yeah. So basically, you're supposed to have developed that It's like a pilot that has a co-pilot. You understand? So you're going on a flight, you're going on a journey, okay? And from, you know, let's imagine you want to fly from here to Australia, and you're flying with a co-pilot, right? And from time to time, okay, at some time, maybe one pilot want to take a break. When you are taking a break, you don't want your plane to crash, right? So you can instruct, your co-pilot, okay, I'm going to take a quick nap. I'm going to take a quick power nap. Co-pilot, you fly the plane right now. You know what I'm saying? Avoid the mountain and the hills. Don't crash the plane. And if you see enemy missiles encroaching, make sure that you evade it. Don't let us be penetrated. You know what I'm saying? So you can give your Ori that instruction, but when people have never been taught about their Ori, human beings have now been reduced to just like empty vessels, basically. But we are not that. We are more than that. You know what I'm saying? There is a co-pilot there that you are supposed to give instructions to that can actually help you. You're supposed to be working with it. It's supposed to be teamwork. You see, this earthly experience, it's supposed to be teamwork. The conscious mind, which is the physical mind, the physical head, which is the human personality that people talk to today, was never designed to experience it alone. And this is the source of a lot of hardship that human beings are experiencing in this world, in today's world, because we are all doing it alone, but you are not designed to do it alone. You are supposed to work in conjunction, in collaboration. It's a triadic system. It's not just the Oriode. It's the Orinu and the Ikmori. The Orinu and the Ikmori, they have access to what I termed as the Olodumare support system. And like I said in this book, the Orinu is what? The Orisha within. You have an Orisha which lives inside of you, which looks like this. You have your own personally appointed Orisha. It's in your brain. It's connected to the Olodumare support network. It is this Orinu that calls on other Orisha to come and help you if you need certain things, because the Orisha, they're basically like the primordial energy or forces of nature which governs different aspects of nature, different aspects of reality. Okay, like Ajay, which is wealth, is an Orisha. So if you need to amplify your wealth magnetism, your Orinu can do that. You can do that for you, because your Orinu is metaphysical in nature. It is like a spirit in your head which has access to other spirits, other energy forces. So your Orinu knows how much wealth is been assigned to you. That's why in Yoruba, Orinu ni Oba Ayanmo. Your Orinu knows your divine contract, your divinity. Your Orinu knows it, and he knows how much. Not everybody's going to have the same amount of wealth, but what you're supposed to have, because Olodumare didn't send you into this world to suffer. Okay, we chose, in terms of the wealth that we've got is, it's not the same. Some people have more than others, but every single one of us, we're supposed to have enough. But your Orinu knows how much you're supposed to have, and your Orinu, you can assign it to go and bring, okay, out of what has been appointed to me, out of my portion, I need some right now. You can instruct your Ori to go and get it. Oh, you know what? I'm going through my life experience right now, and I'm facing a lot of challenges, a lot of enemies. People are scheming at me, scheming on me at work. I've got some guys in my area where I live that don't like me. They're trying to attack. Your Ori, in that moment, if you have that intimacy, that in relationship with your Ori, okay, even if you don't know what you need, your Orinu in that moment in time can go and talk to Ogun. All you need to do is just say, Orinu mi gbà mí, Orinu mi, ìwọ olùgbèjà mi, gbè mí, ṣẹ́gun fún mi, àwọn ọ̀tá yìí pọ̀. Basically, you're saying, my Orinu, help me. I'm in the middle of enemies. I'm facing a lot of challenges right now. I'm facing a lot of enemies right now. I'm facing a lot of battles right now. I need you to ensure that I overcome this. I need you to ensure that I win. I need you to ensure that I survive. You see, in that moment, if you have enough relationship with your Orinu can then go and talk to Ogun. Or in that moment, if you go and do your divination, your Orinu can say, can bring out a message in that says, Elobo Ogun. Ogun is basically the primordial energy, the Irumale of iron, but it's also the Irumale of battles, of challenges. Okay? In that moment in time, that's the department you need to talk to. That's your war department. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know this, then that means you got no protection, right? If you don't know that, there's actually a department of wealth and fortune that you're supposed to, that you can consult when you're in need, you're just going to suffer for no reason. You're going to struggle a lot in life because you don't even know it's there. It's like they said, the power in power is knowing there is power. Let me say that one more time. The power in power is knowing there is power. So if you have power, for instance, let's imagine I've got a weapon. I don't even want to talk about what kind of weapon it is in the house, right? Let's say there's a weapon in this house that if the God forbid, if the house ever gets invaded, maybe there's some people that want to come and do something silly in this house, and I've got a weapon that I can use to defend myself, to fend them off. Okay, but that power and that weapon that I've got is useless if I don't know it's there, isn't it? It can be the most powerful object in the world, but if I don't know it's there and recognize it as power, then it's like there is no power. So the power in power is knowing there is power. It's the same thing about the way we experience this world. If you don't recognize that you've got access to all these energy points and this divine department, you are not going to make the consultation when you're supposed to. Do you understand? Is that making sense? Sure, yeah, makes sense by me. So it's important that we know this. Let me continue. So when we talk about paying homage, Kama Sheba, Iba Orimi is where you start from. Then we've got Iba. Sorry, did you want to say something? I see you've come off mute. Alkaline, can you hear me?
Yeah, Benny.
Ah, okay, ẹ ṣeun. So yeah, so Ìbà Orí tó bá ti jí lówùúrọ̀, ẹ ṣe ìbà orí yín, Ìbà Ọ̀rúnmìlà, because Ọ̀rúnmìlà is the what? Is the, like I said about the Irúnmọlẹ̀, Ọ̀rúnmìlà is the Irúnmọlẹ̀ of knowledge and wisdom. Okay? And Ọ̀rúnmìlà is also called Ẹlẹ́rìí Ìpín, the witness of destiny. Atún orí ẹni tí ò sunwọ̀n ṣe, the person that can correct or negative destiny, or negative a negative assignment, a negative divinity, basically. Okay, Ọ̀rúnmìlà can correct it. An example of that, let's imagine that, remember when I talk about Ìpín and Àyànmọ́, and I talk about the divine contract, which we call destiny, everybody's got it. Some people chose more, it goes down not only to fortune and misfortune, it goes down to the length of time that you yourself appointed that you wanted to experience in this world. Did you know that? And this thing is verifiable, by the way. I was talking to my grandmother the other day, and she was telling me that, her father, this was just last week or the week before, my grandmother was telling me that her father wrote down on the calendar, he put down on the wall the day that he was going to pass away. So when my grandmother was then traveling to England, right, and she went to tell her grandfather that, I'm traveling to England, I'm coming to study and do this and do that. And the grandfather, that's my great grandfather rather, her father asked her, wow, you're going to go, how long are you gonna go for? And she said, I'm gonna be there for 5 years before I come back. You know what I'm saying? And then because my grandmother was saying, within 5 years I'll have my citizenship, I'll have everything, so I'll be able to come and go. So after the first 5 years I need to put in the work, study for 5 years, and then I'll be able to come back and visit. And he told her that, I won't be here by the time you come back. She said, how? And he showed her a calendar on the wall, like, before you come back, I would have transitioned. I would have gone to the ancestral realm. That this is the day that I'm going. And my grandmother let me know just 2 weeks ago or last week. Like, did you know that he actually transitioned on that exact day? Not a day earlier, not a day later. The exact day that he said he was going to transition was exactly when he transitioned. How could he know that? It's because there is Ìpín and Àyànmọ́, and there is Yoruba people have a way of checking your divine contract. How long have I appointed to myself? If I go and check my contract for me, my assignment, how many years am I supposed to use in this world? Yoruba people can get that to the day. Not everybody knows this, but there are people who still know it today. That if you want to find out when you're going to transition, you can. But Orunmila is then the Elerikme, the witness of everybody's destiny, as well as the Atun Ori Eni Ti O Sunwon Se. Then through Orunmila, people can change those assignments. The unfavorable assignments, you can change it. You can change your contract. You can have it modified through Orunmila. And a lot of people do this. When I'm going to demonstrate how people do it. Let's imagine a parent gave birth to a child, and the child turns out to be Abiku. Abiku are children who come into this world. Their lifespan is very short. They come on specific things. Some Abiku, basically, when they're born into the world, they've already agreed prior to coming into the world that, I only want to come and see what it looks like. Okay? And then once they've seen it, okay, I'm good. Okay, I'm going to this world. I just want to see what it looks like. After I've seen it, I'm going. I just want to taste the mother's milk. Once I've tasted it, I'm going back. You see, those Abiku, they come and they go very, very frequently, very, very on short term. But obviously, the parent that's going to give birth to an Abiku, clearly a parent don't want a child to unalive when they're still babies, right? So Yoruba people have a way of every birth that when they give birth in Yoruba land, they do a traditional rite called the Esentaye, through which they can then find out what kind of child is this and what's the divine contract that's attributed to this child. And one of the things they look for is She Omo Yon Shabiku. So when they find out that child is Abiku, then through Orunmila, they ask, please, we really love our daughter or our son. Adetilo wo, we've gone to do the research in using the Yoruba process. We've asked Orunmila, and we now know that this child is Abiku, or this child is not going to be around for long, because this is the contract that they've signed. But we don't want to lose our child early. Is there anything we can do to change this fortune, to expand the lifespan? This is real. This is not myth. Okay? So, and then obviously sometimes they are able to, sometimes they're not able to. Sometimes they say, okay, this is what the parents need to do. They need to do X, Y, and Z. You need to do this. Or Basically, they give the guidance of, if the answer is yes, they'll tell the parent that, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and then the baby can stay for longer. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's the Ori Omo Yen Loma Lokpe. Abikmo Ori Omo Yen Loma Lokpe. They have to go and beg that person's Ori or Ekmori. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it depends on, basically through Orunmila, they'll find out, okay, is there anything we can do to make this child have a long-lasting experience? If the answer is yes, then the next question would be, okay, what are the things that we need to do? And then they will tell them, and then they do it if they want the baby to live longer. Did you know this is real? This is still practiced in Yoruba land till this day, and it's verifiable. It is very, very scientific. And actually, sometimes Yoruba people are able to identify this. We even know the children that's been through this process through their names. I am not going to say something. Oh my goodness. I just had the thought now. It's mad. But through some names, we can tell. Like names like Duro Jaye, Malomo. You know what Duro Jaye translates to? It translates to, please stay and enjoy this world, enjoy life. Malomo means don't depart from us again. Like don't unalive early.
Ikuda, you see.
You see? So when you hear those names, and if you're a Yoruba person who understand, you know that this child was an Abiku. And we are talking about the people who are still have that traditional alignment. Names now, some people are choosing names based on the sound these days. Okay, so you may hear some names that the parents have given their child because they like the sound of it. Okay, so it can be coincidental, but the purpose of certain names in Yoruba land is exactly that. It's just like, for instance, if in Yoruba cosmology, there's something called Atunwa, which means reincarnation. Again, if they do the Esentaye and they find out that a baby is a reincarnation of an elder, you are going to hear names like Yetunde. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
The literal meaning of the name is Ye, that means our mother. Tunde has returned. So for a Yoruba person that you understand your culture, you know the significance of names. When you hear certain names, it tells a certain story. You don't even need to know, you just know. You don't even need to tell anybody. When you hear Yetunde or Babatunde, the definition of it, the literal translation means our father has returned. So when people say, "Oh, reincarnation is even real, is even possible," in Yoruba, it's not even like an hypothesis. No, it's factual in Yoruba cosmology, in Yoruba land. Factual. We've got a verification process which is irrefutable. You know what I'm saying? And you hear it in the names. Anyway, let's move on. So basically, examples of how to pay respect and reverence is Iba Orimi. I've already talked about how you need to venerate your head. Iba Orumila. Orumila is the custodian of knowledge, wisdom, and like I said, Orumila also has a special assignment of what? Elerikme, the witness of destiny, and Atunori Eniti Osumashe. When people want to change unfavorable destinies, they go to Orumila. Okay?
I just want to ship something. Okay. My name is Adesheson. My dad has been giving birth to girls we have 11 girls. All of a sudden, he has a son. Then he named me Adesheson. Because I was something he has been looking for so long. Along the line, he has a lot of abikus, but those that are alive are girls, and there are about 11 of them already. And he has been looking for a male child for so long. So when I came, he named me Ade Oshieson for me. So that is, Yoruba names have meanings, and people these days they name children without not thinking about it. But in the olden days, they name children based on what is happening in their life, or based on what is happening at that moment.
Yeah,
I just want to ship that in. Thank you.
Very, very good. You see, Babawa, he gave us two validations there. He said in his own family, they had a lot of abikus, maybe the male children. Yeah. And then by the time his father wanted a son, and by the time they had him, you see, and they gave him a name which reflects that. Adesheson for me. What a beautiful name. Amariba, so you see that's validation, right? And also there was something else I wanted to pick from that. Okay, it's escaped me now. There was something else I wanted to pick from that. But ultimately, you see, it literally confirms what we're saying. Okay, that's why Yoruba, that Yoruba names are significant. But these days, people are losing their culture. Before, when you hear a Yoruba name, Yoruba people don't just name people just randomly. No, it's not just, because because of the way it sounds to your hearing. No, it's about what's going on. That's why I want Yoruba money. Ilela and wo kato somoluruko. lórúkọ, the translation for that is we check the background. We look at in the family, what's going on right now? What's the significance of this child? What's the role of this child before we name the child? Okay, that's why Yoruba people máa ń sọ pé ilé là ń wò ká tó sọmọ lórúkọ. We check the background, we check the family, we check the context. We understand the significance of the child before we name the child. But obviously, through westernization and all these cultural dilutions, we're beginning to lose some of that. Okay? But we need to remind ourselves again, because our culture is superior compared to what, all the exchanges that we've had. We've got a system which is scientific. We need to start remembering that again. So, there's a practice recommendation here to say your daily Iba aloud with meaning. Okay? Gbogbo alẹ́ yẹ ká máa ṣe Ìbà. Ìbà tó yẹ kí the basic, the minimum should be Ìbà Olódùmarè, Ọba Atẹ́rẹrẹ kárí ayé. We're talking about Ìbà to the creator, reverence and salutation to the creator. Okay? And Ìbà kíni? Ìbà orí mi àpérè àtètè níran àtẹ̀lé ní máyà. If you're of an Ìṣẹ̀ṣe or Ifá, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ló yẹ kó máa ṣe Ìbà Ọ̀rúnmìlà, but let's say some people, maybe they're Christians or Muslims now. You should be doing Ìbà fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà, but let's say you don't want to do that because you're a Christian or a Muslim. At minimum, you should be doing Ìbà Olódùmarè, Ọba Atẹ́rẹrẹ kárí ayé, the creator of the world. Ìbà orí, because whether you're Christian or Muslim, you have your orí. Ṣe Ìbà orí ẹ, then ṣe Ìbà bàbá, your father. Ṣe Ìbà ìyá. At a minimum, regardless of what you're calling yourself, whether you're Christian or Muslim or whatever, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever you want to call yourself. But if you're Omo Yoruba, when you wake up in the morning, you should say Ìbà fún Olódùmarè, Ọba Atẹ́rẹrẹ kárí ayé, which is the creator. Ìbà bàbá, mo ṣe bà àwọn bàbá, mo ṣe bà àwọn ìyá, mo ṣe bà ẹ̀yin àgbààgbà. Do you understand? So, and in Yoruba culture and cosmology, we believe that by doing this, Kamajuba Olódùmarè, Ìbà bàbá àti ìyá, it basically can extend one's lifespan. We really believe that. Okay? So practice. Say your daily Ìbà aloud in the morning with meaning. Okay? And then we're going into Àṣà Yoruba values and conduct, okay? Importance of greetings. We've already talked about that before. That is very, very important. Greeting people in the Yoruba cosmology, it signals the kind of person you are. It signals the kind of upbringing, and you've got, and also signals your character, the quality of your character. So greetings are very, very important things in Yoruba. Humility, Ìwà Pẹlẹ́, is very, very, very important in Yoruba, because Ìwà Pẹlẹ́ is basically it signifies good character. Okay, it signifies a warm character. That person has got that person has got warmth. Okay, in their character, is of a good character. That person is of a good nature. Okay, and then we have service, ìrànlọ́wọ́. So it's like this is something that people are beginning to lose this. So basically, every single one of us is supposed to be of service to every single one of us. So we are here to serve each other. Okay, when religion came, it took our service to each other, and it tries to project it into service to some imaginary foreign god. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're not of service to your neighbor, then how can you serve something that you don't see? If you're not of service to your family, if you're not of service to your parents, if you're not of service to your brothers and your sisters, if you're not of service to your children, then your service to an imaginary, so-called God is useless, isn't it? But when the religion came, they tried to tell us that, forget everybody else, just be of service to the Creator based on the way they're telling you to be of service to the Creator. Which really means service to them, if you understand it. It really means serving foreign people. Okay, but under the pretext of serving foreign god, you know what I'm saying? So the biggest act of service is to service to ourselves and our surroundings. So the service is not to any imaginary god, it's of service to your surroundings, your family, your neighbor, your community, your nation. That's who you're supposed to be of service to. Okay? Because our creator don't need our service because he created us. He don't need us in any way. He don't need our service. He just needs us to be of service to ourselves, to each other. So family hierarchy and community respect, like we've talked about hierarchy before. So in Yoruba culture, when you want to address an elderly person, we pluralize our language. Okay, if you want to talk to your peers, you can say káàárọ̀, ṣó ti ṣe, ṣó ti rí. But when it's an elder, you pluralize it. You talk as if you're speaking to more than one person. Ẹ káàárọ̀, ṣé ẹ ti gbọ́, ṣé ẹ ti rí, ṣé dáadáa lẹ wà. We won't be using O, we're going to be using ẹ. Okay, because Yoruba, like I said, is a language of reverence, and we pay reverence to love or law. We appreciate hierarchy, we appreciate seniority, so we convey that we honor that in our everyday experience. Okay, and community respect. Okay, ẹni tí ó mọ ìwà, ẹni tí ó mọ ìwà ó mọ ọ̀run. That means a person who knows character, who knows heaven. Okay, he who knows character knows heaven. He who understands character understands heaven, because heaven, the spiritual realm, it is hierarchical. Everything about the Yoruba cosmology, it is hierarchical. Okay, it is hierarchical. So if you look at the very top, we've got Olódùmarè, Ọba tẹ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kárí ayé. Then we've got what? Then we've got Ori. People confuse it. People think it's the Irumole before the Ori. No, it's not. We've got Olódùmarè, Ọba tẹ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kárí ayé. Then we've got àwọn ìyá. So we've got Olódùmarè at the very top. Then we've got àwọn ìyá. Then we've got Ori. Then we've got all the Orisha. All the Orisha are subordinate to your Ori. Yes, they are more powerful because they are metaphysical, but in nature. And we know that the spirit has more influence and more power over the physical reality. Okay? But they are subordinate to your Ori, not superior to your Ori. The only person in that hierarchy that's superior to your Ori is àwọn ìyá mi, torí àwọn àgbààgbà nìyẹn. Adẹ̀ṣèbà àwọn ìyá mi o, àwọn ìyá mi ò ṣòròǹgà ẹyẹ bàgẹ̀bàgẹ̀, ọ̀pàkẹ́ ọ̀làkẹ́, olókìkí oró, alágogo idẹ, àṣèbà yín o, àṣèbà yín àgbààgbà. Okay? So people confuse it. People think it's the Orisha before that. No, your Ori is your Orisha within. Okay? The highest rank, because no Orisha can do anything for you unless your Ori agrees to it. Which is why they say, torí àwọn kan tó bá lọ ń bo òrìṣà tó máa ń gbọ́ pé èèyàn kan ń bo òrìṣà báyìí wọ́n náà fẹ́ lọ bọ́ ṣé ó ti béèrè lọ́wọ́ orí, à ń béèrè bí ọjà gbétà à sì béèrè lọ́wọ́ orí. You have to ask your Ori first. It's through your Ori that all the other Orishas can enrich you, can protect you, can do whatever you need them to do for you. But your Ori has the ultimate say. Your Ori is the one who consents. If your Ori doesn't consent to one Orisha, or even when it comes to things like Ogun, tí orí wa ò bá gbà, orí wa ò gbà o. So lágbára Èdùmàrè, orí wa gbà fún wa o, orí inú wa kò ní bá tòde jẹ́, orí wa ṣàkóso, á gbé wa, á gbà wá, á gbé wa lárugẹ, á gbé wa lékè o. So it's important to understand this, okay? Ẹni tí ó mọ ìwà, ó mọ ọ̀run. He who understands character understands the heaven, okay? Activity point here. Describe how Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́, which means what? Humility, which means what? Good character can guide your life. That's an activity that the students are going to be doing here when you receive your weekly workbook. So describe how Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́ can guide your life. If you want to attempt that now, go ahead and do that. We can definitely maybe take on one or two. How could your Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́ guide your life? How could one's life be guided by the Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́? Bá mi ẹ̀yin náà ẹ lè ṣe ìbéèrè, ẹ lè dáhùn ìbéèrè yẹn o. Alka, are you still with us?
Yeah. I'm just
Okay.
thinking.
So describe how Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́ can guide your life.
I mean, if you have good character, I guess like everything you do, like will have like the best intentions. So you're not really you're doing it. You're not doing it to solely get something in return. You're doing it because that's just you. That's what you like. That's what you believe you should do. Like it feels right within you, as opposed to doing it for like ulterior motive.
Very good. Very good. So, Anshin Kong, we are doing something because we think is the right thing to do. We're not doing it because of what we are looking to get in return. That's definitely a very good application of Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́. Okay? And a lot of people don't operate like that, do they?
Nope.
I have to say one of the biggest realization that I've had to get used to in this life is the day I started noticing that, I thought people did the right thing because it was the right thing to do, because that's the way I was raised. But when I started looking around and I started looking at people around me like, wow, I literally had friends and I had people, so I was surrounded by a lot of people. Then I started realizing that, come to think of it, they never did anything unless they were going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
When I started realizing that, my circle shrunk almost to like a dot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just had to start shedding the fire. I realized it. It's like you start feeling foolish. Like, and this is me. I'm operating based on selflessness. I'm operating just based on morality and principle. And I'm surrounded by. Then you're gonna realize you're surrounded by leeches who never do anything unless they're gonna get something back.
Yeah.
When I realized that's probably one of the hardest, hardest realization, for me to hardest thing for me to realize in this world, for me to get used to get that around my head. If you're not like that, if you're not of that kind of nature yourself, it's a difficult realization to deal with.
Yeah,
it's a difficult realization you deal with. Like, wow, like if someone needs help, I'm not helping them because I'm hoping to get something to get something back. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping them because I'm able to and because it's the right thing to do. But when you realize that most people don't operate like that, it can be heartbreaking still.
Yeah,
it can be heartbreaking, but it's better to know than to go through a life and not understand that that's the way other people are thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's the way other people are operating. It's one of those things that it can shake you up once you realize it. It can be heartbreaking, but then you have to mature quickly. You have to understand it is what it is. Everybody can be the same as me, and you then learn how to protect your nature, your kind nature. You have to learn how to protect it, how to ensure that people don't take advantage of it, especially people that wouldn't do the same for you. You know what I'm saying? So so that brings us to the end of today's module. Okay, so let's do a quick review. So we've explained Orí, Ìwà Pẹ̀lẹ́, and Àṣẹ. We have discussed the importance of Ìbà, paying reverence, paying homage, paying respect, and greetings in the Yoruba culture, in the Yoruba cosmology. They are very, very, very serious things, okay? They are very, very serious things. It's super important. Recall 2 proverbs about character. I've given 2 proverbs in there. I said Ìwà lẹ́wà, which means character is one's beauty. Yeah. And what else? Could you remember another proverb I provided earlier?
You said the beauty one, right? Wait.
Yeah, I've just said the beauty one. Yeah, I beat you to that one.
Yeah. But which one? Because there were two different ones. Ìwà Lẹ́wà's character is beauty.
Yeah.
No, I haven't got another one.
Okay, and the other one I said ìwà rere, good character lè fi kún ọjọ́ orí ẹ̀dá. A good character could extend one's destiny and one's lifespan. You know what I'm saying? So that's another one. Okay. There are a few others, but obviously that's two. And I said, ẹni tí ó mọ ìwà, the person who understands character, good character, ó mọ ọ̀run, understands the heavens. Okay? Because of what? As it's above, so is below, right? That's what they say, right? Exactly. Okay? And so basically, it's the students at this point, you get you've earned your certificate for at Ìtàn àti Ìṣẹ̀ṣe, basically Yoruba culture and spiritual foundations for beginner. Okay, and it's your and obviously, like I said, the way the courses are broken down, they are broken down into two layers, right? We've got the foundation, we've got the intermediate, and the advanced. Obviously, the intermediate and the advanced, they get deeper into this, and we've also got a dedicated course for the Ìṣẹ̀ṣe, which is 100. It's not focused on the language. No, this one is just focused on Ìṣẹ̀ṣe, which is basically the Ìṣẹ̀ṣe is basically the Yoruba culture and spiritual foundations. It goes into the metaphysical aspect of Yoruba and things like that. It talks about the spirituality, the metaphysical aspect. We talk more around the scientific aspect of things seen and unseen in that particular module. Okay, so that one is for people who are interested in that. It may not be for everybody, but it's there. Okay, for those who want to take a glimpse of, okay, what does it actually, what does that look like? How would that, can I get a sneak peek of that? So if you go on our YouTube channel, Yoruba Ronu Publishing, our YouTube channel, Yoruba Ronu Publishing, you'll be able to find a video there called Ìṣẹ̀ṣe Foundation, Module 1. Ìṣẹ̀ṣe Foundation, Module 1. So if you want to just familiarize, you just to say, okay, I'm hearing about this course. What is it actually about? Can I take a sneak peek? Can I take a quick look? So you can definitely go find it there. It's on our YouTube channel, Yoruba Ronu Publishing. And you'll be able to find more details. I think it's probably maybe a 3-hour lecture. It's really maybe 3, even a 4-hour lecture. Because when I get into the metaphysical aspect of our culture, it's hard to stop. Once I get into that, I could talk all day. So yeah, which brings us to the ending of this particular lecture today. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it useful.
Yeah, it was. It was. One quote I'll take away is, we aren't experiencing nature, we are nature. We are.
It's very, very important to understand that. Okay? And for those who are signing up or who would like to join us on the other lecture, we're going to start it again, maybe early next year. So if people would like to register to that, definitely get in contact. We need at least 10 people. If we're going to continue that, we need at least 10 people, 10 students minimum, in order for us to be able to continue that. But basically, this goes into a lot of things. It goes into the metaphysical, the quantum physics aspect of the Yoruba culture. We're going to be the advanced level. We're going to be going into things that we're going to be going into really, 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 how can I put this mildly? Basically, we're going to do some amazing stuff, some mind-blowing stuff. Okay? We're going to be going into some mind-blowing stuff. And we're not talking about something abstract here, practical stuff. But it's just mind-blowing. Some pre-civilized... let me just say, there's a lot of amazing things that we've got planned for that one. So if anyone's interested, please feel free. You can take a sneak preview. Go on our YouTube channel, Yoruba Ronu Publishing. Watch that first lecture, which is like a demo lecture. Go and watch that. And then if you're interested to finding out more, then please feel free to reach out to us. Okay? I thank everybody. I thank all the listeners of today. I thank you, Alkaline Junkie, always for being an amazing guest.
Thank you.
An amazing student, much appreciated. I thank Babami to Walile Konda Potibole. I appreciate him for his contribution also. And then, yeah, Àṣèbà Olódùmarè, Ọba Tẹ́rẹrẹ kárí ayé, Ọba Àjíkí, Ọba Àjípè, Àṣèbà gbogbo àwọn àgbà wa, Àṣèbà ẹ̀yin Yami Òṣòròǹgà Ọ̀pàkẹ́ Ọ̀làkẹ́, Àṣèbà yín o, Àṣèbà gbogbo àwọn bàbá, Àṣèbà ọmọdé, Àṣèbà àgbà, Àṣèbà ọkùnrin, Àṣèbà obìnrin o. So yeah, as usual, we're going to end this on a bit of music today. I know that our resident MC, our resident musician, 100 and nothing. He dropped a new single the other day. I think it was
Stop taking meeting notes and
I think it was yesterday. I'm trying to find it on his page. Yeah, I know he dropped a single. Okay, maybe it's not on YouTube yet. I can't find it on YouTube yet. Okay, in that case, we're just gonna have to play something we're familiar with. Okay, thanks everyone. I hope everyone have lovely weekends. Babawa to join your resident neighbor or something like that. So thanks for all the likers, all the gifters. We got to 33k likes today. Not the best, but we appreciate it nevertheless. So yeah, we'll catch up again same time next week. Odaro, Ireo. See you next week, guys.